Hello there, I'm Dr. Cobalt Jackson, and after a brief legal snag in our otherwise blossoming friendship, Meghan and Harry Meghan Markle Windsor have returned to discuss issues as diverse as the release of upcoming books, continued media criticism, and Meghan's recent reaching of a milestone birthday. Meghan, Harry, welcome.
Oh, it's great to be back here. It's great to be back.
Oh, sorry about the litigation.
No problem at all, Harry. Nothing like a refreshing trial to clear the foggy misunderstandings from the air.
Very well said.
And in the spirit of such desmogification, I'd like to ask you about the release of your upcoming book, Harry, or series of books, we're led to believe. Is that correct?
Well, there might be more than one.
The book has been described by yourself, Harry, as a wholly truthful first-hand account of your life.
You know, Harry hasn't really been capable up until this point, to really open up and talk truthfully about his life experiences, right?
Is that something you've encouraged, Meghan?
Oh, she's been a backbone of support. Before meeting my Meghan, I used to spend so much time being happy, I couldn't properly concentrate on my mental health.
Harry?
Encourage? Not just encourage. That's not going far enough. I mean, Meghan's been on at me about revealing my side of the story ever since we first met.
That's not true, actually. I've never actively encouraged Harry to open up about his past. I just been there for him and given him support whenever he feels the need or desire to do so.
Oh, she's never encouraged me, actually. No, never encouraged. She just supported my desire to show that everything's been so unfair.
Well, it's clearly a very personal affair, Harry. Would you be kind enough to share some details of the writing process?
Oh, it's all about diet. Diet and stamina. I awake at 6:30, turn my alarm off, and I sleep through to 9. Then I awake, stretch, then go and have some porridge oats, some apricots, and some jasmine tea.
You like Earl Grey too?
Love it. Anyway, after breakfast, I go and do a little bit of yoga. Meghan says my downward-facing dog looks like a poorly erected yurt. In such a sweet way. I have a muffin for 11s, then I hit the writing desk. Thinking cap on, focused eyes.
We've hired someone to write the book.
Oh no, I haven't been on active writing duties, but I do make an effort to sit next to him, and juggle or something while he's writing.
How droll. Penguin, the publishing house, have billed the release as, and I quote, an intimate and heartfelt memoir from one of the most fascinating and influential global figures of our time. And you yourself, Harry, have said about the book, and I quote, I've worn many hats over the years, both literally and figuratively. And my hope is that in telling my story, the highs and lows, the mistakes, the lessons learned, I can help show that no matter where we come from, we have more in common than we think. But what about those who point out that you reside in an opulence far outside the grasp of those who you otherwise have so much in common with?
Oh, it's because they're ignorant. Don't they even know I'm giving the proceeds to charity?
Which is very noble, Harry. Although there have been no declarations as to where the $15 million plus advance is going.
Oh, for Christ's sake, do you know how hard juggling is?
Your eagerly awaited memoir, Harry, has been slated by the Daily Mail, describing it as hypocrisy and proving once again that you live in a world of your own. With Meghan, of course.
We think that just shows that we need to bypass the media, They have an irrational hatred for us, and we can't let that influence the way we present ourselves, our mission. The fact that the media had been overwhelmingly favourable towards you during your courtship, engagement, and early marriage, only changing as your behaviour became increasingly pompous and self-referential, notwithstanding, how do you intend to bypass the media, Meghan? What I mean is writing books, for example, directly communicating with those who we wish to influence.
Yes, although when you publicise the books, Meghan, you'll be using the media to do so. But ignoring that for one moment, are you implying that the people love you, but the media don't?
Got it in one.
Yeah, that's more or less it, you know? The people love us, and they will always love us.
It's funny you say that, Meghan. A YouGov poll back in 2018 placed you as the most popular royals, whereas now you're languishing very close to the bottom, just above Prince Andrew.
Polls are racist.
We've been defamed, you know, unfairly mocked by the media, the right-wing press particularly, you know, anything to the right of Nick Clegg or Don Lemon. They've really gone after us.
Vicious.
They haven't necessarily made things up about us, but they have reported on certain truths, which has not helped our perception, you know, the perception of us, right?
Right, so the media are guilty of reporting truthfully of your exploits.
Which really doesn't help.
You know, normal people, you know, like average people, they don't quite understand what's going on in the world around us.
The one we live in.
Yeah, and I can't blame people for their limitations, you know? Not everyone can be special, for instance. But at the same time, when the media report on us and report on me particularly, even truthfully, sometimes it's very jarring to the populace, you know? It really rattles them up.
Oh, they can't just keep their big mouths shut, or at least try to help in this process.
What process is that?
Well, yeah,
Like affecting an augmentation to the white supremacist cesspit we're all about to drown in. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, right? Not everyone can see it. So the media shouldn't be a cause of friction. They should be, if anything, a shock absorber for people like myself.
Oh, you mean they should convey your actions, speeches, inconsistencies, hypocrisies, and dreary saccharine waffle in such a way as to effectively bend the public to your will?
Yeah.
oh, would that be so hard? I mean, Meghan's like a bike. The public are like a bumpy old road. And all the media need to be is a half-decent suspension, so she doesn't feel any pushback as she rides over their lives.
If Meghan is the bike, the public are the road, and the media is the suspension, what are you, Harry?
I'm the juggler.
It's important to keep him occupied.
Well, if the media aren't going to do their job, you know, their sworn duty of giving quasi-royal ex-actresses free rein to lecture an already over-managed populace, then we're just going to have to get ourselves out there and show people what we're all about.
Although, Harry, you had much public support in the US when you first moved there, however, that support has dwindled as you've been given more airtime to speak freely.
Oh, great that.
Your repetitive interviews and performances have exposed your myopic self-entitlement, and as your public exposure's gone up, the line chart of your popularity has gone down.
Oh, line charts are racist.
I've been awfully rude in not wishing you a happy 40th birthday, Meghan.
40. I know. Hard to believe, right?
Impossible, I'd say.
Where are you getting these objects from?
Well, what objects?
You've made 40 a big important number, Meghan. You spent 40 minutes sending compassionate messages to disadvantaged women, and you've asked 40 world leaders, activists and artists to contribute to your initiative. And 4040 is the most dominant feature on the homepage of your Archwell Foundation website.
Oh, that was you. Yeah, I saw we had a visit.
We get lots and lots of visitors. But look, okay, right, you know, I wanted to use this milestone birthday of mine, you know, not just to have a lavish party, which we did, or to, you know, get 25,000 pounds worth of jewelry, which I got, but I want to turn it into a global celebration, you know, of love, compassion.
Oh, she's so amazing, you know. I sometimes think Meghan's like one of those Dickens characters, you know. She settles for so little. A necklace or two, a couple of rings, and a swanky dinner. That's it. And then she's right back thinking of others again.
I see, and all she demands for her modest personal indulgences is a global celebration in her honour. You really are the gift that keeps on giving, Meghan.
Thank you. That's so kind.
Oh, very kind, very kind.
You're one too, Harry, and I mean that. But let's not drown in the eye-swallowed tears of sentimentality, shall we? You recently made a humorous video in celebration of your 40th birthday. You were in it too, of course, Harry, juggling outside the window.
At first I could only juggle 2, but now I can juggle 3.
That's funny once, Harry.
Knowing how scripted and purposeful every pencil placement is when recording a video such as you did, many have noticed the very minimalist, neutral decoration.
We call them receptive colours, they become more colourful through absorbed emotion.
But what about those who say the neutrality of your decoration perfectly mirrors your relevance to the world? Bland, uninspiring, bereft of ideas, and with nothing meaningful to say.
Yeah, given it all that.
Nah, that's fine. It doesn't really bother me. Some people just don't get it, and I was expecting that. It's like I say, you can't change the world faster than it can be changed.
Look,
How do you reply to those who say that the very idea of a 40-40 initiative co-aligned with your 40th birthday shows a staggering degree of razor-sharp narcissism delivered with a po-faced sincerity?
We'd say get yourself a thesaurus. We've heard all those words before.
If it's narcissism to want to make the world a better place, then I'm a narcissist.
That's not narcissism, no.
If it's narcissism to want to spread compassion, then I'm a narcissist.
No, that's not narcissism either.
If it's narcissism to want to make, your birthday the source of change that the world so obviously needs, and always know that you played a big part in that,
Oh, that's the very definition of narcissism.
then I'm a narcissist.
I understand this perception that some have of you, that perception being perfectly summed up by the assumption that your 40th birthday is a significant global event.
Can you think of any bigger? Christmas maybe?
Quite. But to start an initiative on your birthday with aligned numbers assumes it. Would it not have been better, more tactical even, to have assumed a modest demeanour instead?
Meghan's the most modest. Doesn't she know it?
Even if you had planned with your friends, perhaps, to start the initiative, and then you pretended you didn't know anything about it, and they had dedicated it to you as a gift on your birthday. That way making it more about the mission and less about you.
Oh, I can see arguments for and against there.
If they had dedicated it to you, Meghan, it would have implied that love and compassion is what comes to mind when they think of you. But when you start it yourself, well, it becomes very easy to slip on the melted butter and land in the toaster slot of narcissism.
That would all make perfect sense if I was to receive adulation for being front and center of this initiative. But I won't be, I'll be mocked, right? Laughed at, ridiculed, Putting myself at the forefront of this movement, it's going to bring stress and humiliation.
Have you ever considered that is because it is indeed what people think?
No, we just need to do more, like give more. For instance, I appealed to my fans to upload my birthday poem.
Oh, how did that do?
200 uploads on Instagram in the first 24 hours?
Yeah, but things change,
Oh yeah, we're in discussions at the moment about purchasing some likes and shares.
What Harry means is that we are liaising with our PR firm on how to more effectively market our material.
Oh, so a lackluster response to your work, therefore, is only ever considered a communication breakdown rather than a simple judgment on what you're communicating.
Yeah, always.
Oh, it's the best way not to lose faith in the world.
Turning once again to your 40th birthday, Meghan, it has been reported that your father sent you 40 roses and a birthday card, but that you didn't respond to him.
Touchy subject.
And although this is an intimate issue and wouldn't usually be the business of the public, it is in this case because you have embraced, indeed encouraged your enhanced exposure, whilst simultaneously preaching compassion and forgiveness,
Now that's real juggling.
making the ethical inequivalence insoluble, impossible to believe, irredeemably irregular. I think we've spoken about this before. When I lack compassion, I don't disregard the concept of compassion, you know? I don't taint its glory. It's just that I want to conserve compassion in the future that I would give, that I would otherwise be prevented from giving if I let certain individuals back into my life. Yes, but what if some say that is just bohemian sophistry, cleverly employed to justify despicable double standards? Yes and no. Ah, yes, the deluded narcissist's favourite reply.
Look, you can't ask geniuses to explain why they're geniuses. Hey, Mozart, Newton, Barack Obama, why are you geniuses? They just show you, by being geniuses. It's not up to us mere mortals to judge or ask questions, just to watch and accept.
So are you implying that Meghan's a genius?
That's not even up for debate.
A genius is a word used by some, certainly me. But look, the most important thing here, no doubt, is that I uphold the principle of love and compassion and forgiveness. But sometimes that can be best achieved by harboring grudges and vicious resentment. And would it be the same for everyone if they deemed themselves in a similar situation?
That's like comparing apples to oranges.
No. Compassion and forgiveness needs to flourish in others, despite their personal situations or opinions. And that coercion can only come about if I'm here to insist it does.
And if Meghan starts forgiving people, in her own life, it upsets her balance, making her unable to perform her essential role in making everybody else compassionate.
But what about people who continue to say, surely these contrasting narratives effectively destroy your argument? Why can't you, yourself, be more forgiving?
Why did Einstein smoke a pipe? We don't know. We shouldn't question them. They all have their foibles. We should just be grateful they're here to change the world and make it better.
You mentioned Barack Obama before, Harry. We were all rather shocked to see you weren't invited to his 60th birthday bash.
So, we're not going to invite him to our next big party.
I think that Barack probably wanted to keep the spotlight on himself, typical man. But that's understandable, I'm not sure that inviting me would have assisted him in that, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, so you think you'd have stolen his thunder?
Well, look at you. You can't get enough of us, can you?
True. I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. You really are the gift that keeps on giving. Royal experts have claimed that the Obamas didn't invite you to their party because they didn't like you attacking the royal family.
Well, A, I didn't attack them. B, what the hell is a royal expert? And F, they're making stuff up. It's so obvious to see. It's as easy as knowing your ABCs.
I kind of see what you mean about royal experts, Harry, but if not for your aggressive stance against the royal family, can I say that? Aggressive stance?
Yeah, I prefer assertive.
Assertive would be better. Okay, but if not because of your assertive stance against the royal family, why didn't the Obamas invite you to their brazenly maskless, opulently decorated and slavishly catered for 60th birthday bash?
Probably because of our overall behaviour, generally. Racism. Yeah, he didn't want to invite... Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, I always get the hard ones. I know. Have I already said racism? Oh, I don't know. Next question.
This isn't a quiz, Harry.
Oh, but how I wish it was. In fact, I've got an appearance on the Hall Porters quiz coming up. Can't wait.
Like I've already said, I don't think that Barack would have wanted to risk being upstaged, right? You know? I mean, imagine royalty walking in.
Oh, no, please, come on. It's Barack's Day. It's Barack's Day. You know, you can say what you want. They'll keep coming for us.
It's funny how you rely on the very institution you subtly undermine for the generated intrigue required to keep you meaningful.
Oh, we don't even need or care about the publicity created by our royal status.
Well, then drop the titles.
But then we'd lose our royal prestige, you know? And a lot of the interest people have in us, right?
That doesn't seem to make sense.
Oh, it's called the Markle paradox.
The Markle paradox. But if...
I wouldn't even try if I were you. I mean, we've already had great thinkers and mathematicians trying to crack it, but they can't.
Oh, it's just one of those beautiful things that exists, you know, in nature, but forever remains a mystery.
Right. Although it's not as though you've just incidentally held on to the titles. I mean, you've actively fought to retain them and then turned Sussex into a brand.
Yeah, you know, as hard as it was essential, you know? The worst thing that can happen right now is that we would lose our relevance and our influence, you know? Then you'd see the hatred spread. I mean, God, things would really heat up. Too hot to handle.
So you're like a soothing balm that cools the red-hot acid of hate.
Well put. Get this man a coffee. No, a Coke. Or an amaretto.
The more relevant you are and remain, the more of a cooling effect you can have on the world. Which means that the more hypocritical you are, the more you wantonly feast on the fruits of royalty whilst simultaneously stamping on the peaches that you can't eat, the more relevant you will remain, which in turn means the more cooling ointment you can apply to this blistering world.
Oh, it's called Markle's Law, Moore's Law, Murphy's Law, and Markle's Law.
Your half-brother, Meghan, Thomas Markle, is about to make an appearance on Australian Big Brother. Is this a foreboding moment for you, considering some of the damning things he's had to say about you in the past?
What do you mean? I don't remember him saying any negative comments.
He's referred to you, Meghan, as a phony, a bully, a jaded, shallow and conceited woman. And he's reported to have warned you, Harry, and I quote, that she'll ruin your life.
Oh, those ones, yeah. Yeah, bad.
Have you ever heard of antimatter?
Yes, although not in the context of Australian Big Brother.
When someone comes along who's more, you know, magnetically or maybe spiritually connected, you know, connected to the surroundings, there's always some ignorance born alongside.
Oh, I see what she's getting at. Oh, clever.
I mean, some of my family must be viewed in that light, right? And although they are my family, of course, you know, I love them all dearly. But the best way to show them that is to completely cut them out of my life.
It's all part of Markle's Law.
This makes most sense when you open your eyes, you know, right? And your mind's eye to the requirement of balance in the universe. And realize that they are a necessary counterbalance to my wisdom.
God pays his debts.
They've been sent to try me, you know, literally.
Is it a coincidence, do you think, that a large portion of the general public completely agree with Thomas Markle Jr.'s appraisal of you?
Coincidences are racist.
No, Harry.
Oh, it's unconscious bias.
The trick is, Harry, to only use those discussion-ending labels during realistic and potentially digestible scenarios, not palpably ludicrous ones.
Oh, that's some useful stuff. How do you spell useful? And stuff?
It's not a coincidence, it's a pervading narrative, Darkness spreads darkness just as light spreads light, right?
Goosebumps.
Your family, therefore, are the antimatter to your truth and kindness.
Oh, nice way to put it.
But how do you reply to those who say that even the mere suggestion of such an explanation in response to your half-brother's criticism suggests most strongly that you're penning your reply whilst locked inside the microwave oven of narcissism? I'd like to return once again to your father, Meghan. He's had a lot to say in recent weeks, such as that you're telling lies, and that you've only started telling lies since you met Harry.
Oh, that really riles me up. It really does.
Leaving us to decipher whether he meant that Harry has brought about this change in you through bullying indoctrination, or that you've only discovered the potential power of a lie ever since having a stage large enough upon which to perpetuate it. I always tell the truth, always. It's probably my biggest fault, in fact. But, the truth will always be seen as a lie when it's lies that run the world. Mr. Markle also claimed that you didn't contact him whilst he was in hospital, that you didn't care. That's not true, We did care, but it's a delicate situation, right?
Look, my Meghan's amazing, okay? And he was nasty to my Meghan. She's like a fine porcelain. Takes time to repair.
Yeah, and what's more delicate than fine porcelain? He also contradicted the notion that you received any racism whilst growing up. How do you define racism, By what everyone can understand and agree upon? Or by those special few who have got the ability to see the ghosts of racism haunting every known corridor of comprehension? The first one.
Oh, these are the fundamentals, man. Shouldn't be getting these wrong.
No, because that way racism continues to flourish. Because when you remove the actual existing racism, the ghosts are there to come and take their place. How would you do things different then, Meghan, blessed as you are with this additional foresight, to prevent these racist apparitions haunting our entire interaction base? Stop it at the source, There are still things that we're allowed to say that should not be permitted in modern discourse. So if we can prevent racist and prejudiced ideas developing by cutting out the cancerous cells right at the beginning, we could be living in a racial harmony within months, Oh, you'd set tighter controls on speech.
Stop people saying it, and in the end, they won't even be able to think it.
What could go wrong? People talk about free speech and its supposed sanctity, always skewing it in such a way that it questions anyone who attempts to put some limits on it.
It's bonkers.
I see, Meghan, but who do you suppose should be given authority to define acceptable and unacceptable speech? Experts.
Look, gardeners tend to the soil to improve the flower beds. Chefs add spices to their sauces to improve the flavour. And Meghan and people like her tend to the speech we use to improve society.
Oh, you see yourself as one of the aforementioned experts. Well, if the shoe fits.
But no. Oh, no.
This ties nicely into the rumours, speculation, anticipation, and sheer horror that you might run for US president. Thomas Markle has said that he thinks it must be a joke.
Look, does he even know what a joke is? You know? Knock knock.
Who's there?
The interrupting sheep.
Interrupting sheep.
Ah! Now that's a joke. Look, don't ask me how it's done, but apparently you can click a like button or something, even a subscribe button. Rumour has it there's a notification bell and a sharing option. I got no idea how to do it, but if you can work it out, I'd really appreciate it.